Yo, what is up guys, this is TyrantX1 here and welcome to another non-game review video, and this time I'm continuing on what I did earlier on, like with Halo 4, and that is explaining things it did right and what it did wrong. Now obviously I've already made my video of what it did mainly right. This time I'm going to say what it mainly did wrong. I'm not a biased person here, but obviously I felt like I need to make a things it did wrong, and it did actually do some things wrong. So let's get into it. Right, let's begin with Spartan Ops. Now, I did say in the what it did right video is that it actually expanded upon the storyline of Halo 4 itself. Now that yes is a good thing. What Spartan Ops did mainly wrong was the fact that its missions were hugely repetitive, and that's not very good for a secondary campaign. It's supposed to be about a Spartan team doing missions on Requiem, and I'd say there's about 10 chapters, well 10 episodes should I say, and overall there's 5 chapters for each episode, and that's 50 missions altogether, and when only 3 of those episodes are, well, about 15 of those missions are different compared to the rest, then yeah, things are going to get boring pretty quickly. I mean, it was fun to kill a bunch of enemies, especially when it's on a firefight level, but you're kind of doing pretty much the same things as well. Not only that, you have to either destroy something, or you have to press a bunch of buttons to achieve an objective. Now, it did try to spice things up along the way, like you have to defend certain things, but really, Spartan Ops failed to like make things, you know, feel not boring, and it was kind of sad because I did enjoy Spartan Ops. It felt like something that was kind of needed in the Halo franchise to me really, because it was actually a fun concept, but 343 just didn't pull it off the right way, and that kind of was a bit sad. My next reason is in the multiplayer section of the game, and it is the ranking system. Now, the ranking system was not done quite well in this game compared to other Halo games like Halo 3 or even Halo Reach, for example, or even Halo Reach. It's just that the ranking system felt like it would be over with very quickly. I mean, there was 130 levels, but you'd be able to get through it very quickly. And if you technically remove the Spartan variation armors, you know, like Wetwork, Rogue, the specification armors, you technically have only 50 levels, really. And I must say, it's not very rewarding, the ranking system, really. It's like the rewarding area of multiplayer is the accommodations, where you unlock, like, special armor, like the Protector, the Gungnir, and the weapon accommodations and all that. That's pretty much where all the rewards are for the multiplayer. But the ranking system, compared to other Halo games, it's just not very rewarding, and it's very quick to get to finish. It's like it took about half a year or something to complete, to fully rank up. But to be fair, I do have my 360 is a bit shit and would disconnect me multiple times when playing on the multiplayer for God knows what. But I got to the highest rank, and I probably would have got there even quicker if I didn't have these disconnections all the damn time. So yeah, really, Halo 4's ranking system for the multiplayer was not done fairly well, and luckily, and they probably did improve upon that in Halo 5 Guardians, which was at least a decent thing. Now, not only is the ranking system a bit poor, but there's also another thing to do with the multiplayer. Now, usually in video games, there's always that one annoying weapon that's always a pain in the arse, and sadly Halo 4 had that problem too, and that is the bolt shot. Now, the bolt shot, out of all the weaponry of the game, felt like it unbalanced everything the most, because really it was how people used it against other players, and that's mainly with the secondary firing ability, which is the shotgun blast. And really, this made a lot of people annoyed and pissed off about how people would use it, which is basically crouching behind a corner and then waiting for someone to come by, and then they would use the second firing mechanism to pounce on unexpected players. And I will say, this was a pain in the ass, especially for myself, because this happened to me a bunch of times too. And it never gets old. Luckily, the more I played the game, the less it occurred. But it was an annoying thing, and luckily they sorted this out with Halo 5 Guardians by giving the bolt shot a free burst firing action. So, but I will say, at least the bolt shot, in my eyes, was a pretty decent weapon mechanic-wise. But when it came to working in multiplayer, it didn't do quite so well, I'd say. Well, it did well, it just didn't work against other weapons it was up against, and it just didn't do well for balancing with the weapons as well, because there's not really any other weapon to use against it. There wasn't any other weapon like it, because I mean, there's the shotgun and the scatter shot, but really the bolt shot is the only surprise weapon in the game that you can use effectively. And that really did get on a lot of people's nerves, and also my nerves too, and my friends' nerves too, and people who knew the game from the back of their hand. It was even more annoying for when we went up against players like that too. So yeah, the bolt shot was, out of all the weapons in the Halo 4, was the most unbalanced against other weapons. Now, out of all the characters I've ever experienced in the Halo franchise, none of them has ever annoyed me or pissed me the hell off more than Captain Del Rio. This guy is a piece of shit for a character in this game because of how much of an asshole he is. He gives no goddamn respect for the Master Chief or any of the other characters in the game. He thinks he's superior in any way because of his experience. He's talking to the guy who frigging stopped the Covenant from destroying humanity, and he's just being like a freaking douchebag to him. I hated this guy. He always kept making things worse. He never made anything better, and I'm really glad that Captain Lasky was the guy who replaced him of being in charge on the Infinity. I don't really get how people hate characters in this game like Palmer, and in Halo 5 Guardians how they hate Tanaka, when this guy is a true piece of shit who should be hated to the core. He offers nothing that is worthy of redemption in my eyes at all. He's, to me, I hope if he ever does become a bad guy in the future, I will be glad killing this asshole once and for all. I won't give a damn or have any sympathy, because he will deserve it for what he did in this game, and that's treating the Master Chief like a piece of shit. Del Rio was a really bad character in this game. He's like if Jacob Keyes from Halo CE was an arsehole. He's basically that, is Del Rio. That's the entire point of Del Rio. He's an arsehole character. And yes, there have been arsehole characters in other games, but there was use for them, and they didn't entirely piss me off. Del Rio is like an arsehole character that just pisses me off and has no use whatsoever in the game apart from being a douchebag leader. That is it. So yeah, anyone who hates on Commander Palmer and any of the other characters may kind of deserve that hate, but they don't deserve as much hate as Del Rio does. And finally, one of the main reasons that Halo 4 did wrong was how the Didact was used in the game. Now, I'm not saying the Didact was a bad villain. In fact, he's probably one of the first proper Halo villains in the franchise. I mean, yes, we've had the Prophets and Tartarus from the other Halo games, but it was more of a combined coalition, really. The Didact is the first true solo villain of the franchise. It's just how he was used in the game was what kind of annoys me. I mean, he acts like this threatening villain, this threatening god that will destroy anything in his path. Yeah, he doesn't really show that. All he does is that he has a menacing voice, some badass looking armor, and force powers. Oh, for fuck's sake. The force powers is really what's stupid. You think at the end of the game you're going to have a big boss fight with this guy, but all he does is that he hides behind his force-like powers the entire time he meets the Master Chief, making it impossible for us to have a proper boss fight against him. And what makes it even worse is that during the Halo Escalation series, or the Halo comic where 24 hours after Requiem or something like that, which shows Chief link up with Blue Team again, he actually does fight with the Didact again with Blue Team. And I felt like that was the proper boss fight that should have been at the end of Halo 4, because the Didact was not hiding behind his stupid ass force powers. He was actually fighting back against Blue Team and the Chief. And I just thought to myself, where was this in Halo 4? And that's what made me think is why the Didact wasn't used properly. He was a good villain, but just wasn't used correctly. So, yeah. So, those are my main reasons that of what I think Halo 4 did wrong. So, yeah, and hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. You can put down your own opinions in the comments down below of what you think the game might have done wrong, and stuff like that. Leave a like down below, and I shall see you guys in the next random video.